Welcome to Inside the Moms Club, where being a mom is the coolest place to be. Here in the Moms Club, we believe that what embarrasses you now will make a great story later. And let's face it, you don't laugh sometimes, you're going to cry. Join us in having a good laugh together. I'm Monica Samuels. You are now inside the Moms Club, your private destination for all things mom. Woo! Hi, moms. Welcome to Inside the Moms Club. I'm your host, Monica Samuels, and I'm here with my co-host, Julie Orchid.
Hello, friend.
Hello, friend.
How are you?
I am great. And you know what? I am so excited about this show. I'm excited about all the shows. They're all great. And you can catch them on YouTube. Please subscribe. But that's a whole other story.
I mean, I'm stupid giddy about this show because this is right up my alley.
Well, this is the whole concept. This is the whole show.
Yeah.
Because we started Inside the Moms Club because there were a group of friends that we all met through our kids' school.
Right.
And we've become tight friends ever since. We go on vacations together. We have a text thing.
We're basically married. Like our guests are going to talk about, about friendship being the new marriage. So
we're so married in a way that my husband is now, we're about to have a big anniversary. And last year, Julie was at our anniversary dinner. It was the three of us. And this year, we were planning when we were going to have it. And he asked me when Julie was available.
Listen, I tried to bow out, but my favorite line, I have to tell it. My favorite line, we're at dinner. Mark goes, God, Julie, thank God you're here. Because if you weren't, we'd be fighting at our anniversary.
No. We wouldn't have been.
Of course not.
Not for the whole
Of
dinner.
course not.
Like a little thing might have come up. But yeah, and then recently I went to a basketball game with two of their husbands.
Yeah, our friends.
Our friends. And then I have to say, one of them was a really great sport because I face planted in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
I'm
sure they didn't know what to do with you. They were like,
no. He left to go get the car to come back for me. And I kind of wonder if he was, I was sitting there thinking, is he going to come back? Because if I were him, I don't think I would come back.
Yeah, exactly.
It was rather embarrassing. I even had a lady ask me when it happened, did you just get hit by a car? And I said, no. And she said, oh. And then she walked off. It's like, I guess she wanted to tell people. I just saw somebody get
Not
help me. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But we are, we're very close.
We're very close.
We travel together. Do
you have a favorite story of a friend, a moment in our friendship that sparks? Don't tell the bad ones.
There's a lot of, I'm not going to tell the bad ones. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, there are.
Do you know the one that kind of is touching to me is that one of our friends has been ill and we went to Italy together to Positano. It was amazing. And she couldn't come.
Yeah.
So Julie and I were sitting on the beach and Julie picked up this rock because of course the beaches in Italy are super rocky.
Yeah.
And so this huge boulder she pulled out of and she said, it would be cool if Angela could be here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take that home to her. And I took a piece of Italy. I don't know if that's illegal or not. I'm an attorney. I should probably have checked. But anyway, I took it with me and gave it to her. And she was recently in the hospital and she pulled it out of her bag and she said, this is my good luck. This is what pulled me through.
Yeah.
I rub this rock whenever I'm getting down.
It's we keep each other from getting lonely. And I read something about our guest today where they said, this is kind of one of the reviews, like their new book that's out, An Antidote to Loneliness. I couldn't agree more. And I think friendship is critical. If you don't have it, then the consequence can be loneliness. So
it's really important. But you know what? I did mention to you, there's this new thing called mommunes where single moms get together and they live together to help support each other.
Yeah.
And I asked you, of all of our friends together, would we ever want to live together like the Golden Girls? And
I don't think it's just for single moms. I think some of these,
just generally.
In general,
And I think you came to the conclusion, no. but that's a living situation.
Yeah.
But we did talk about
LTS.
Well, we also talked about who are you in the Golden Girls? And
immediately she's like, Julie, you're the most wisecracking, sarcastic one. So it's either the
you were
mom,
either Dorothy or Sophia.
Yeah, something. I don't.
Sure.
I honestly.
But then
don't
that
know.
left me choices like me as Rose. I'm not Rose.
Yeah,
and I'm sure not Blanche. You know?
Yeah.
So that was. So I guess we'd have to create our own.
We'd have to think about that.
But you know what? I mean, we're just.
Yeah. I mean, we've done things. I mean, like one night it was my birthday and I was feeling a little bit low. I walk out of the airport. There's Leslie. There's Jennifer. They picked me up at the airport. You know, you're good friends when they pick you up at the airport and they take you to the ER. So I do those two things. So I consider myself a good friend. And then I get home and you're there and, you know, we had a little cake and a little, you know, jewelry exchange.
Well, and then we gave you your necklace.
I've never taken it off.
That you wear all the time.
Yeah, a little heart.
Well, and they just had my birthday and they gave me a cake and it said, "We love you" on it. And that was very touching.
Well,
so,
you're welcome.
Yeah. So let's get right into it because
I'm
this
so
is
excited. I could
great
go on and on.
Subject. Our guests today have written a book together called Stay Golden Girls, Friendship is the New Marriage. And they are friends. They are lifelong friends. And they are both named Rachel. So I'll introduce the first. Rachel is a writer, director, and Academy Award nominated producer of the Dallas Buyers Club. Together with LeBron James, she produces biopic Shooting Stars, and you can catch her audio drama Supreme, The Battle for Roe on iHeartRadio. Please welcome Rachel Winter. Welcome, Rachel, to the Moms Club. And our other Rachel is a writer, teacher, and mental health advocate. And she hosts a podcast called Dear Family Podcast, where she has inspirational guests who've overcome mental health obstacles, joined her and share their stories. Please welcome Rachel Steinman. Welcome, Rachel, to the Moms Club. Well, we are so excited to have you ladies. Like we said, we are all over this. This is a great topic for us because this is the whole reason that we're here. And for point of reference, because we've had double guests before, but they usually had different first names. So we're going to have Rachel S. and Rachel W. If we're directing a question, and that's for our Zoomer moms too. So let's start. Either one of you can pick this up. How did you decide to write this book? Where did the idea come from? I mean, obviously the genesis of your friendship, but what said, okay, let's write a book?
Well, Rachel and I met in college, and through first jobs, marriages, kids, 30 years together, our relationship has grown to the point where it's more than just a friendship. We've really relied on each other, and we have a group of friends. And over the years, we've always kind of joked, you know, maybe one day we'll live together, or that kind of Golden Girls mentality.
3 of us married older guys, so you can kind of
not me, but so we just have always kind of had those discussions, kind of joking around, like who would do what, similar to what you were saying. But really, this was more than that. And post-pandemic, we realized that we really relied on each other and found such kind of a need for just that connection. And that we realized that our significant others and our children weren't the only person that we needed to orbit our life around, and that we could have this kind of platonic romance and celebratory just relationship with our friends and celebrate love. And another mutual friend of ours, her name's Kim, she gave us this article about these 7 young Chinese women who pooled their resources together to buy a home, a rundown mansion, to rebuild it, to one day retire in. And they ended up using this home to come together and form this community and raise their kids in. And we realized, okay, this is on the other side of the world. This is not just something we're thinking about. This is something women are thinking about. And Galentine's, this new holiday that is really kind of in the zeitgeist. We have daughters. They were celebrating Galentine's Day as we were wanting to celebrate Galentine's Day. And we just started writing chapter ideas, and it morphed into figuring out great inspirational quotes, and it turned into essays, and we came out with this book, and this book has a lot of legs. It's this little book that we're calling a gift book that's perfect to give to your best friend, your mom, your daughter, your aunt, anyone that you love in your life. And when you say it has a lot of legs, because we know the importance of community. We know the importance of going on those girls' trips and having those girls' nights out or girls' nights in, or even it's like a Zoom cocktail hour if your friend lives far away. And what's been most exciting to us is the reaction from this book. Whether it doesn't matter what generation, how old these women are that we're running into, we're hearing stories about groups of women that have nicknames for each other and
nicknames for the groups.
Yeah, nicknames for the groups and just how meaningful those friendships are. And I think one thing we can all agree on right now in the world, it can feel kind of like a dark place. There's a lot happening in the news. Mm-hmm. We all can agree that friendship is amazing and that it's worth celebrating. And so that's really why we wrote this book. Am I missing anything? You did a great job.
No.
I'm like, wow.
Wow.
I want, yes, we all want a copy of it. Well, that's great.
We kind of have a saying. We do have a name for our text group. We call, Monica has been generous enough. We go to Epcot Food and Wine, and everybody has had a chance to go. So we call it the Disney Moms, which has been a lot of fun. We label that. But we also have a saying, and Leslie, and I talk about this, and, she'll say to me, it's a terrible idea. What time and where do I be? So you rely on your friends. And, I looked forward to getting the group chat every day especially during COVID. During COVID hit hard. COVID, a divorce, and a kid leaving for college and high school graduation. So I can honestly say when I say I'm giddy about it, it's because it got me through and it continues to all the time, friendship. So I'm really glad that you put pen to paper and, forced it out into the world and that we celebrate women and that also it's Girl Incorporated. Is
Girls Inc.
Excuse me, Girls Inc. Excuse me. So, you also decided to promote, you can probably speak to it better than I can, women supporting women. And, I'm assuming some of the proceeds to the book are,
Part of the proceeds go to Girls Inc., which is a fantastic organization. They've been around since the 1800s. They mentor young girls, young women. And it's extraordinary. So we were really thrilled that they embraced us to do that.
Yeah. So, my one question is that you guys basically are in your own right. I was able to listen to a podcast, Rachel, that was so pivotal. So my question for you is that you are the one about where they go into the high schools and the pressure. And off the top of my head, can't remember, but I listened to it. And it's so critical right now to a lot of our moms that are listening on your podcast, Dear Family. If you haven't listened to it, it is really incredible. What does it bring to you when you have a guest and, you're putting it out into the world, really hearing it from the kids and, feedback?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I volunteer for NAMI, which stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. I go into middle schools and high schools and I speak to parents and I speak to staff about warning signs for mental health issues, and I offer resources and I offer hope. And the reason why I started podcasting and volunteering and writing and blogging about mental health issues is because I come from a long line of generational trauma passed down, bipolar, depression, substance abuse, you name it, my family had it. Multiple divorces.
Yeah. The
scandals, you go on and on and on. And I did not want to pass that on to my kids. And I wanted to be able to talk about it and rid the shame and the stigma and often family secrets and replace it with love and compassion and understanding. And we all know every family is affected by mental health. We all have mental health, by the way, just like we all have our physical health. But where this ties in really well with friendship is that we are living in a time where it's an epidemic of loneliness. And whether it's young people that are just staring at screens all day and not interacting with friends, we're social creatures. We need to be with one another. We need to reach out to others. Just to having conversations and connecting really is so helpful for our mental wellness. And so I love that I get to remind kids and students and parents and loved ones the importance of making those connections. Even when you're feeling a little bit down, the importance of kind of pushing yourself to get out there and have a coffee with a friend. Yeah. And on the flip side, being a good friend means reaching out to someone that you haven't heard from in a while and checking in on them. If they go silent, continue to check in on them. Often you don't know what they're going through, and they will be so grateful later on. And it can just be listening. It can just be that kind of open ear, that sitting with them, on the couch and hanging out.
Well, and that's where this is so important, because just as for us as a group of friends, because you become so close as friends, that's what the great thing about friendship. You can share. If you go silent, that's a big thing, because your friends, they really know you very well. But a lot of times you don't go silent. You spill your guts out there on text. I'm really feeling bad today. I'm having a hard time. And they build you up and they help you out.
Well, they not only build you up, but you laugh your butt off, for sure. Yeah. And I want to hear more about this joint checking account.
Now, when you started this business together, tell us about
and
that.
How did
that happen?
And
when the book kind of materialized, I'm like, holy cow. As you now know, that's not what I would normally say, but holy cow.
You can say it. Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is, when women attempt to accomplish a goal, I find it becomes a challenge, because everyone's like, is it a hobby or is it a business? If I were a man, would you ask me that question?
Heck no. And that's not what I would normally say. Yeah.
Yep. And exactly. And then, B, it's like, okay, just watch us. And I've gotten very far in my own career. My husband says the same thing too. It's like, you tell me I can't do something. Just watch me can really propel a person forward.
Yeah.
So it was very important to us that we were going to see this through. We know how we feel about each other. We know how we feel about our group of friends that we met through, and certainly our other groups that we have in our lives that we're so blessed to have, or relationships with our mothers, etc. How to share that with the world. So then it became this series of like, okay, well, we're going to share it with the world, and we're going to manifest that money's not just going to keep going out, but it's also going to come in at some point. So we're going to open a checking account. And so we went over to the bank, and I mean, it was hilarious. It was like two people who just got off like another planet.
Yeah. They're like, so you're not married, but you, and yeah.
And, but it was really sweet. And then we have, we're wearing our claw ring.
Oh, yeah.
Find the camera.
Yeah.
So, it's a traditional Irish.
Mm-hmm.
It's also in the O.
There you are. Yeah.
Of golden.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of the theme of our book. And yeah, I mean, we get, so can you tell them what your husband said at Friendsgiving?
Yeah. What did he say?
Remind me.
Okay. Her memory is kind of gone. So like now we're extra married.
Yeah. Right hand, left hand. I get it.
So at Friendsgiving, they have this incredible group of friends. Every year they get together for however many years they've been doing it, and they all go around. And you're not allowed to say, "Oh, I'm grateful for my children." Whatever.
Right.
You have to say something a little with more depth. And her husband, when it was his turn, he said, "I'm grateful that my wife just opened a checking account and exchanged rings with her best friend, and I'm not jealous."
And I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. You actually really hit the nail on the head with that, telling me that story, because quite honestly, I'm a huge podcast listener, so I was able to listen to you and your husband talk talk to Rachel, which was really great because you're such a powerhouse, and being a director and being with, like, you know, obviously working with Matthew McConaughey and then Kelsey Grammer, I think he's absolutely one of my favorites. So to have that be your directorial debut, I think, if I have that correct, with him is so incredible. But I find that men, and you can tell me about this about your husband, that they kind of watch women in amazement about friendship. And they're like, how does this work? What is that?
That is true.
And that for
they
him,
don't often have those
they
kind of
don't
friendships.
often have those type of tight, you know, he might be like, why are you texting her again? You just texted her 30 seconds ago. Or why? Yeah. Like, what is it that you possibly,
that's true.
Right.
My husband's always like, didn't you just talk to her 10 minutes ago? I'm like, yeah, that was 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. I have something else to say. So my question is, does your husband get jealous, or either one of your husbands? But I was able to get to know your husband, Terry Winter, a little bit on this podcast, which I found extremely fascinating, the whole story. But, you know, and so tell us about that. Like, what does he have to say about it? Because I'm interested. Women's friendships are kind of a threat.
That's a good question.
It is a great question. First of all, our husbands are really good friends, so that's super fun. And Terry, my husband, is not jealous. I think he's really happy for me.
Aww.
I think he truly feels like, what a blessing. He's still best friends with two of his best friends growing up in Brooklyn since they were 10 years old, Bobby and Chris. And they're still super tight. So he values that and he understands it. There are occasions where the 17th phone call has come in and like, we're getting ready for bed or whatever. And I don't have to see the eye roll.
It's, you know, right into your skin. Like, you know,
Exactly. But honestly, at that point, it could be anybody calling. You'd probably still be like, come on, what the?
Yeah.
Heck.
The day is over. Yeah.
Now, I actually co-wrote a book myself years ago, and friendships are interesting. I mean, friendships are beautiful, but sometimes there's friction.
Yeah.
Like, was there any issues, or did you all just agree 100%? This is.
I mean, probably in college, they probably threw down a little bit occasionally. I don't know. Yeah.
As a new marriage, because, you know, marriages always have those, you know, every once in a while. Have you had any of that, or do you just, and how do you deal with it? How do you get past that?
I mean, first of all, I want to say I think our friendship has grown exponentially since college. I wouldn't even say we were remotely as close in college. I think as we've grown and realized that our ethics and morals and approach to the world have been very similar. You know, and I think that has grown. We've been very lucky. The process has been super smooth. And we're also, I think humor is such a good way to diffuse a situation. I think I'm super funny, so it's always great because I'll go for the joke every time. They don't always land, but who cares?
Yeah. And I'm a great audience.
And she's super easy laugh. So like, she should hire herself out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
There have been times where you basically, an idea sucks, and then you just make a joke about it, and the other person instinctively knows, well, okay, let's move on from that. So we've been able to maybe avoid, because there's not that sensitivity.
Yeah.
Take it personally. We're trying to build something together.
Because it is a 50-50, right? So like if one person has an idea and the other person doesn't like it, we've often said like, okay, well, let's sleep on it. Yeah. And then we seem to come and meet and miraculously get to an understanding. And that is a blessing. I know that not every friendship has that. And one of the chapters is about honesty. And sometimes that honesty means you have to bite your tongue. It's not the right moment. So like learning when the right time to kind of share what you're really thinking is a valuable tool.
To say in a moment, that hurt me, or that sucked. I really wish you hadn't said that, or whatever. Those things really help. I
really wish you wouldn't give Monica ideas for me to.
I'm actually writing them.
You're writing them down.
No, I want the book.
But no, go ahead, Rachel.
I love it. Yeah.
No, Rachel, we accidentally both ended up buying the same jumpsuit. And I was like, Rachel's like, we need to go when we sell the books, we should both be wearing our jumpsuits. I'm like, it's not I Love Lucy.
Yeah. She's like, it's a great idea.
Like, no.
Oh my goodness. So you guys both have, you have children, obviously, part of Inside the Moms Club here. And I would like to know, do you share the same parenting philosophy, or, this parenting is the gift that keeps on giving sometimes. So, whoo.
Yeah.
Tell us about being a busy mom writing a book.
One way to put it. Yes. And I do want to say I have learned a lot from Rachel and the way she's a terrific mom. She's an unbelievable mom. It comes very naturally to her. And I feel like over the years, I've really learned a lot. And even more recently, she's really kind and doesn't say, I told you that like 5 years ago. Like you should have adopted that theory a long time ago. But no, I mean, I love being a mom. My children and are the most important things in my life. My husband is right behind them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big advocate. I'm just a big fan of being honest about, I don't know shit when it comes to that.
Amen. Yeah.
A lot of it is instinctual and making, and being okay with making a ton of mistakes all the time. But the love is always there. And that's the thing that you don't have to go to school for. You don't have to study up. You just have to have your children know that you love them. And then, ultimately, I think you get forgiven for a lot of the mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that. So I am a teacher. I taught kindergarten through 6th grade. I got my teaching credentials, my master's from UCLA. I taught kindergarten for a very long time. And before I had kids, and parents would come to me and I'm like, would have to fake like this advice, right? and I used to be like, how can you not have time to read to your kid at night or whatever it was?
Yeah, right.
And I had my own kids and I'm like, oh my God, that was horrible. How could I, look at them that way? But I did definitely come from that developmental side. And like my first daughter, I made sure that she had every single sporting equipment and didn't wear pink. And then the second daughter could do whatever, Yeah. So they're the ups and downs. My kids are older than Rachel's. So there's that. I have a 21-year-old who is at University of Chicago, and I have an 18-year-old who is a high school senior who's going off to college. So I will have an empty nest in a few months. And Rachel still has kids at home.
Yeah.
So what now? I personally, I'm going to definitely get the book, but I've already gotten one takeaway, which I already know what I'm going to give Julie for Galentine's Day. She's going to get a beautiful ring if I have time.
I told these ladies that,
But what are some of the takeaways you want readers to get from reading your book?
Well, first of all, on the ring, we definitely can hook you up with this amazing jewelry company that made the molds for our ring. It's called Love Around the Neck.
Oh, wow.
Can Monica put a diamond in mine? Yeah.
Well, I could. You have to ask your husband, Mr. Samuels. He has.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I don't have authority for that. But.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And then I think the question was, what's like one takeaway from the book you want? Again, laughter is so the best medicine. Friendship is the best therapy. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I think that modeling that, how we're supposed to model for our children. I have been noticing that modeling for our friends. So if I have found something that's working for me, if it's anything from like getting better sleep or, guess what? I actually started to exercise again or take care of myself. Modeling for your friends is a good gift for them as well. Like, what I started to do? I want you to do that. I want you to, whatever. I think that that's a really good thing. One of my favorite quotes from the book is, a friend will help you move. A best friend will help you move a body. And that's
So true.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and I definitely feel like be there for your friends is a gift. Being there for my friends is a gift to myself. I feel if I know that they're feeling good, I feel good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I want that for them. And I just feel like modeling behavior everywhere in life is just no longer reserved.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we have Zoomer moms, but you have a really, really good point, Rachel, because like not only is it a gift to yourself, but I have 2 daughters and a lot of times I need to control what comes out of my mouth. So me showing them that I have these relationships and these friendships, I'm like, they're watching and they're saying, look at the communities, this friendship that you guys have. And you guys have other friends I know who went to, I think, UC Santa Barbara with you that are part of this group. And they're watching and they think it's pretty, magnificent. So,
yeah,
anyway.
absolutely. Well, and you mentioned we have some
Yes.
Zoomer moms who have some questions for you. So welcome, Zoomer moms. Welcome to the Moms Club. Janine, welcome to the Moms Club. Do you have a question for the Rachels?
For the Rachels.
Oh, hi. This is Janine, and it's such a pleasure to join you. I've been listening to the promotion of wonderful relationships, but do you ever address in your book or experiences in your life when you have a relationship that is a lot of work? It's a high maintenance friend. And there may come a time where there needs to be some separation. Do you have some thoughts on this?
So Rachel's calling you Rachel Winter high maintenance, I think. I don't know.
And I'm taking notes myself.
No, she's just dealing with
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Thank you for joining. I would say that I've been in that situation where it was very interesting. The dynamic was between myself and one of my very closest friends was developing into, it was getting unbalanced. And I was more in a position of taking care. And she decided that she needed a little space from me so that she could regain her own footing, so that feel like she was putting us back on equal ground. And I thought that was so smart and so, what a thoughtful thing to do, not for me, but for herself. And so having been the recipient of getting kind of the cold shoulder, I got like mini ghosted for a little bit. I could feel it. I knew what was happening, but I was able to step back and respect it. And I felt like we were so close. It didn't need a lot of words at the time. Potentially the communication up front would be more ideal, but I still got it and I respected it. And it completely gave us the reset that we needed.
Nice. Yeah.
That is interesting.
And
Well,
it's also,
All right. Do you need a reset? Is that why you just looked at me?
No,
Like,
no. Yes.
I was like, what's happening right
Julie,
now?
I'm going to, when you're ghosted, just remember.
Just remember what Rachel
I was gonna
said.
ask the other Rachel, because you're a mental health expert. Is that the best way to handle it? For both parties, is that the way you would handle that?
Look, I am not a therapist. I so just so you know that.
But she plays one on
Yeah.
On
that's why
TV,
I'm
she plays.
no, but our tagline is friendship is the new marriage.
Yeah.
Friendships are relationships. They require work. It's not just a given to have a friend. You need to be a friend. And if someone is hurting your feelings, there needs to be communication. Sometimes there needs to be a separation. But yeah, I mean, obviously good communication in any relationship is going to make that relationship stronger and better.
I mean, clarity is kindness.
Yeah.
I said clarity is kindness.
Yeah. Sometimes it is. True. Dolores, do you have a question?
A sort of a question. I have a good friend that for 40 years. We worked together for about 15 years. And what happened to us is that we almost lost the friendship over politics.
Oh.
And so we have thought about writing a book about how to keep your friendship when there becomes a knot in that relationship.
We would buy it. We would buy it.
We would buy it.
And I feel like a lot of people understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. I will say I was in a similar position, and unfortunately the friendship has not survived. But I will say on the surface, it might seem like it had to do with politics, but it was because we ultimately stopped watering the flowers in our garden. When the foundation of the friendship becomes too weak, it will not support a seemingly like a growing apart in terms of ethics, morals, politics, or all those umbrellas that can sound very accusatory, like you're not the person that I thought you were, whatever. But it always comes from underneath. Under the surface are all those seeds. And those seeds can, just like Rachel was saying, if you don't water those seeds, they do die. Yeah. And they will not sustain in the face of hardship for the friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that
I have to learn the hard way. And I'll never get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
tough.
would be a great book, though. That would be, especially these days.
Yeah,
Certainly
Dolores, please write it.
To explore that subject. Well, as we said, our show started because of our friendships with each other and with some other moms. And two of them are here as Zoomer moms. So, Leslie, do you have a question?
I do. I think it's really interesting. I mean, of course, you can't really explain your whole journey of your friendship, but obviously at some point you were not always, a lot of people stay friends because their kids are the same age. They're going through the same thing. They're kind of on the same path. Obviously, Jennifer S. has older children and was on that path earlier. And that sometimes that strains a friendship. How did y'all continue to foster that relationship as one kind of moved into marriage? I mean, now, Jennifer White, you might have been married and not kids, but Jennifer, as you got married and
it's
had
Rachel.
kids.
Yeah, Rachel and Rachel, less.
Yeah.
Huh?
Rachel and Rachel.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Jennifer. Maybe it's Jennifer Martin.
Yeah.
No, she's here too, but that's another story.
It's okay.
Rachel S., you obviously kind of got on the path. You have older children. So how did y'all foster that relationship during that time? Because that's just such a pivotal time that you really just kind of form these friendships around where you are in life.
Good question.
Honestly, I think we just continued to have fun together, respect one another, find commonality, turn to each other for advice. And, I don't know, but it's true. We were on different timelines, It's true. Of course, there are the mommy friends that you meet. And that is a chapter about where you meet new friends. There's all different places and times to meet new friends. But,
and it's funny. Yeah. I think when you have a historical friendship, that's like an old friend, so to speak. And now we're very careful because we're getting old. Hey,
watch it.
And I think that when you have these solid friendships that are older and more cemented, it does give you the freedom to you also have your mommy friends or you have your new friends or, and by the way, those can be dad friends too, of course. And I think that when you are very secure in the relationships that have been around for a long time, of course, like we just talked about, you got to keep nurturing them, but it gives you support to almost and then introduce new people into the relationship. Yeah. So then if I meet a new friend who was maybe more on the same time frame as where Rach was with her children, for example, they could become friends. And so, it sort of, we were really lucky.
Yeah, you're spreading the love. But I see you, Rachel Winter, looking at Rachel Steinman going, tell me what it's like to have empty nesting, sleeping late and not having.
Yeah.
Tell me all about it. Yeah.
Well, we also talked about spouses being jealous of the friendship. Sometimes you have multiple friend groups, and like if one of the moms or one of the friends seems to be spending more time with that other friend group. Like I know, they're kind of getting jealous of my pickleball club. I can already sense it.
Oh, so jealous.
Yeah. But I have to practice. So what are you going to do?
Jealous, so.
But I think it's a good idea to draw these, bring them in and introduce more people. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, another one of our friends is Jennifer, who's here. So Jennifer, do you have a question?
I do. Yes. Proud member of the Disney Club, Moms Club. And, it's funny. We sort of, as women, you go through life, at least I did, playing a lot of teams, being on a lot of, organized get-togethers, and we're all so busy and we have so much structured time, and friendships kind of just bloom out of that. But then I also have my last child as a senior, class of 2024.
Yeah.
And, when you move, Monica's done a really good job. And, the Disney mom sort of came out of what do we do after we graduate? And there's no more structured time. We're not traveling for sports together. We're not sitting on the sidelines watching baseball. Like, what do you do to create structure in a relationship? So there's not, every time you get together, it's not like a big amount of work to organize everyone and get everyone on the same page and get everyone to the same place. And what's your advice about sort of creating a routine outside of a structure you don't control, or a structure that isn't no longer there once you're out of?
So many things have combined, and I love that you brought that up. And like, being part of a group or part of a team, or like my grandma used to meet with her friends and play bridge, or whether it was like going to the church or temple or whatever, and meeting with people. It's so important. So what our group, we get together and celebrate birthdays, and we try to go away on girls' trips. Sometimes it's literally like just a girls' dinner, but the texts that go back and forth sustain us, and that's just so fun and silly. And we meet together for 2 hours, but the texts have like, where are we going to meet? Where are we going to go? Like that in of itself has probably surpassed the amount of time we've spent together. Keeping that connection together. Maybe it is planning the once a year, we're going to go to Palm Springs and make it an annual type of thing.
And it's also about taking turns. I think everybody in a friend group, and we joke about this. So if we all live together, like who would do what? I think Monica said that at the beginning of this. Like who takes on which role?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But, maybe in that text chain, it can fall on different shoulders. Be like, okay, we're going to take turns setting a plan. And that way it kind of takes the pressure off
one person. Yeah.
Yes, everybody gets a break and just has to show up. So maybe it's also about the organizing where everybody shares the responsibility. One of our group members, we call her Julie McCoy, the cruise director.
She's the cruise director, yeah.
She really is, and she loves that. But I think when she's got too much going on, other people step in. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes it's nice to share that and dole out the different responsibilities and making sure that the plans get executed.
I think you're onto something, Rachel. You should do a movie and direct it about women friendships on a cruise ship and all the cattiness and the joy and the love that would come out of it. I think that we're onto something.
A trip they took together.
I think you two are texting on the girls' trip.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the jumpsuit on Friday. You can wear it on Sunday. So
Rachel will make me wear it at the same time.
Yeah. And then Rachel will be like, on Saturday, we wear it together. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, no, this has been super fun. I mean, I've really enjoyed this show, and it's really gotten me thinking. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially about you just said. I'm sitting there thinking, who is who in our friendship if we were organized, and we were talking about this. So if we were doing something, Jennifer is the person you call if you want it organized. Like, she's definitely organized.
You and I order out.
If we decided to live in a big house together, we would have Leslie build it because she does. She's not going to build anything.
That's my friend Denise.
Yeah,
that's your friend Denise.
And what's my role? I mean, you called me Julie McCoy the other day. I mean, I don't. Or I also keep us out of trouble because I'm a lawyer.
Yeah,
so
she doesn't let me do anything.
Yeah,
like driving
I
in the
close
wrong
my
lane,
eyes when she's driving.
parking in bad spots. I mean, it all works out.
So, but then you're more fun because you're like, hey, I'm gonna go.
Monica's not that's a terrible idea. What time?
That is where I got that from. Leslie and I, it's a terrible idea. What time do I show up? Yeah, we love that one.
For that, and then we don't call Monica on those adventures.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I have to.
Anyway, I think we've determined that this book, every female should have a copy of it.
Everyone should buy it. It's called Stay Golden Girls, Friendship is the New Marriage. And definitely go and get it. I know you can get it on Amazon. Where else can they find it?
So it's on Amazon, it's on Etsy, and you can also go to our website.
Oh. Yeah, and we're in a bunch of boutiques, which has been really fun to see it like in the real world.
I know.
Yeah, you guys need to hit up Austin. We have some boutiques there. We'd like to see it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely going to get a copy and a ring.
Did you say Austin?
Yes.
It's at Hearth and Soul.
Hearth and Soul.
Oh, you're kidding.
Hearth and Soul. We just so you know, we just did our first live show ever
at Hearth and Soul.
At Hearth and Soul.
Yes.
And so we love Hearth and Soul. Absolutely. Well, now we know exactly where to get it. We'll be going to run right when we get back home. That's exactly where we're going to go get it.
Beautiful. I love that.
Thank you so much, Rachel and Rachel, for joining us. This has been tremendous. Hey, moms and all our new besties out there, we have an assignment for you. So we want you to invite 2 of your friends to follow Inside the Moms Club on Instagram, on our TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's your assignment, ladies. And we're looking forward to expanding the friendship with all your new friends added to our great audience. I can't believe
it's gone by so fast.
It goes by really fast. Every single show goes by fast.
Yeah.
But we're going to be
so fun. We had a great time.
Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us. And moms out there listening, thank you for joining us. And remember the Moms Club motto. If you don't laugh sometimes, you're going to cry. So you don't want to cry. Laugh out there, ladies. And we'll see you next time inside the Moms Club.